You won't even sit up here and have a conversation with me. You won't hug me. You won't look at me, but you want me to cook. I don't know what you think this is. Welcome to La Vida Rosa. I'm your host, Pinky, and today we're going to be talking about Love is Blind, Season 6, Episode 7. So if you'd like to see more, then just stay tuned, like, comment, and subscribe. And without further ado, let's get into this video. Shout out to all of my new followers. A lot of y'all are following me from these Love is Blind reviews. I really appreciate you guys. I have been getting a few comments saying I keep looking off to the side and I'm not paying attention, or I don't know if y'all think I'm distracted, but my notes are literally sitting right here, and that's kind of how I do my reviews. I like to have my notes sitting right here, me read off the notes, read off exactly what the people said, because I feel like when it comes to these reality shows, my brain cannot hold every detail of what happened, so I like to have them right here to make sure that I'm on the right track, because I might remember something wrong or whatever. Y'all be quick to correct me in these comments if I didn't have them. So for all the newcomers, when I look off to the side, I'm looking at my notes. And if it really bothers you that bad, just listen to me like a podcast. With that being said, let's go ahead and start with the review. I'm going to start with Chelsea and Jimmy. We pick up with them of the aftermath of their fight after he ran his mouth to her, telling her that AD was stacked, and she decided to not only embarrass him but also AD. Both of them made a fool of themselves that night. He made a fool of himself when he decided to say what he said about AD to his fiance. And Chelsea made a fool out of herself for trying to, I don't know if she was trying to embarrass this girl, but you definitely did. And you definitely put her out there for no reason. And it looked like it came from a place of insecurity and jealousy. Okay. And then he decided to try to get back at you by, you know, having this little flirtatious looking conversation with AD. And so obviously they ended up having a confrontation about it, and nobody was truly honest about what went down and why. I don't know what their sleeping arrangement was that night, but he came to her and was like, "Are you mad at me?" And he apologized, and she really wants him to validate her feelings and take accountability. And you know, we would like for you to take accountability for what you did as well, Chelsea. Anyway, so they fake made up with each other. In the next scene we see from them, and they're with the other couples, she admitted that they did the nasty. And I'm trying to figure out, at what point did that happen? Did that happen the night before? Did that happen when y'all first got there? Like, when did that happen? Because I could see how she got over it so easily if that's what went down. And then the next scene we see is Jimmy sneaking and eating, what was it, taquitos or something like that. He just was, he was eating them so bad he bit the mess out of his lip and was bleeding. Is it that bad, Jimmy? Like, you was that hungry? Are they starving, y'all? Be honest. Because there have been allegations in the past that Love is Blind do not like to feed or allow them to go to the bathroom. You have a safe space over here, let us know. Because why was he eating that food? He act like he has not eaten in days. That is not helping the allegations, Love is Blind. They really felt the need to highlight that. Then we see Jimmy and AD having a little side conversation. Nothing inappropriate happened in this conversation. I don't even think there was really any flirting going down in this conversation. It's just the optics. It's the optics. Like, you know what went down the night before and how it made your partner feel, and still you come over here and do the same thing. He just has no respect for Chelsea at all. But anyway, he thanked her for letting Chelsea harass her pretty much, and told her that it helped them move forward. And she basically was like, "I'm glad you talking about my butt helped your relationship." Like, how do you expect? What is wrong with these people? Why are they treating? They are literally objectifying AD, and I do not appreciate it at all. She's handling it much better than I would. Okay, with a lot of sarcasm, and I really would never even have to talk to Jimmy ever again. It would just be hi, bye. And then what I don't understand about them is, y'all know y'all relationship is on the rocks, but y'all want to go around and do all this bragging about your relationship. Y'all have one of the most rocky relationships out of everybody there, and you have the nerve to be yeah, it's so good. Y'all are going to be eating those words by the time y'all make the trip home. Y'all are not solid like that. I could see if Amy and Johnny were walking around acting like that. Y'all really have the nerve. Like, it's definitely overcompensating. Once again, the same way he does about her looks, and he keeps saying over and over, oh, you're gorgeous, you're gorgeous, but his body language and facial expressions say something else. Yeah, just bragging, oh, we're doing so great, and then turn around, baby, I love you. Chelsea just overall does the most, and it does, it just really... it really emphasizes her insecurity. You're trying to hide it, but you're using a glass wall. We can see it very clearly. So then they talk about moving in with each other, and he basically says he has zero concerns about that. And it's like, how can you have zero concerns? Like, that's very unrealistic to not have any concerns at all. You're moving in with a virtual stranger. Even if you were moving in with someone that you knew, there would be cause for concern. And y'all already having problems, like... And then he really disgusted me when he said he had clothes, dirty clothes mingling with his clean clothes. And he was asking her, like, should I still wash them? And she's like, yeah. And then right after that, he threw his drawers in her face. Because I don't... Is this the 20% that's dirty? I know. You didn't throw your dirty drawers. You're a little nasty. Let's move on to Amy and Johnny. Things are going so well with Amy and Johnny that they're getting nervous about the hurdles that they might face. And he was even honest about the fact that he actually does want to get into a big fight with him just to see how they both handle it. You already know as a couple you're going to have your arguments, you know you're gonna have your disagreements. Why are you trying to manifest one? Like, I hate when people do that. I just want to see how we handle it. It's coming. Why are you looking for it? If y'all are getting along right now, bask in that. And then when y'all face a problem, that's when you'll see. But don't try to make it come faster. I hate when people on these shows do that. So he's sitting down one-on-one with Laura. They decided not to consummate just yet because she's not on birth control. He really doesn't want any kids right now. And she tells him that some women have a hard time with birth control. It affects different people's bodies differently, and it can really mess up your hormones. And y'all, I've really heard some horror stories when it comes to birth control. One of the worst being that this girl on TikTok, I heard that she went blind from taking birth control. It just does something unnatural to your body. So I can understand why someone wouldn't want to take it. This just came as a surprise to him because he just thought every single woman on this planet was on birth control. Laura, to me, she be too far in people's business. Like, I feel like he was telling too much of Amy's business, and I feel like Laura was asking too much of their business, and she knew who she was talking to because he was just spilling all the tea. And I'm just like, if you don't shut your mouth, I would hate it if my man was sitting up there telling all of our private business when it comes to what we doing behind closed doors. Like, shut up. Amy said later on that her dad was not necessarily supportive of this process or her coming on this show. I would imagine it would be hard for a parent to accept the fact that their child is going to meet and marry somebody in a month, marrying a virtual stranger. Like, when people come on here and they're just so overtly accepting without asking any questions or what, I feel like that's a bit unrealistic. Or do you just not care? Or because that is something to be concerned about. Like, I would definitely be a little leery if I were a parent. She said in the past she made a mistake of letting her parents too much in her business, and she's worried that they will try to involve themselves in her current relationship, and they're just really overprotective because she's been naive in the past and easily influenced, and so obviously they're going to try to do whatever they can to keep her from being hurt. And really, at the end of the day, she's going to have to check her parents and set some boundaries when it comes to that, because your relationship is between you and this man and not your parents, and that could possibly draw a rift between you two. But yeah, she also said that she possibly won't move forward without her father's blessing. So I feel like we're starting to see where their issues are coming in, because so far it's been like bunnies and rainbows, but when they get back home, it seems like we're gonna see how they really do address these issues that are coming at them. Clay and AD. Has the man done anything for me to just be like, this is the worst man on earth? Like, we've seen much worse on this show. It's just, we just wait for the other shoe to drop with him. We just are. He keeps giving like this energy of, oh, I really just don't want to cheat. I just hope I don't cheat. That's a huge red flag. We find out that AD is from Massachusetts. She was a cheerleader for the Patriots, and he's very impressed that she was cheerleading while they won 2 Super Bowls, and he said they will be an iconic couple. And I don't know, that's in another way, it just feels like he wants some of her clout. He wants some of her pull. He wants to be known, and AD is a good way for him to get some of that. They sat down for dinner, and she thanked the server. Like, I feel like she was overemphasizing thanking the server, trying to get Clay to realize you need to thank the servers for bringing you your food as well. He was very uncouth. I'm sorry. Like, at this dinner, he looked like he didn't have no home training at all. And I'm not trying to insult nobody's mama, because she very well could have tried to teach him and none of that stuck with him. I don't know. But the way he was eating that soup and literally drinking from the bowl, where they do that at? I was screaming, because at one point, I don't know why he felt the need to just, I don't know, clear all the plates and stack them and dump the food. And AD was just sitting here like, what did I get myself into? Because she was talking about how, you know, she is somebody that goes to Martha's Vineyard. Like, you could tell she comes from a little money, right? I know it's running through her mind like, I ain't gonna be able to take him nowhere. So he does all that, and then all of a sudden he becomes very solemn, and he's just looking out at the water, and just, she's like, well, what's going on? I completely felt an energy shift. And he's like, I just don't want to let you down. And where did that come from? It just feels like you are feeling guilty. What are you hiding? And AD, open your eyes. Do you not see all of the signs God is trying to give you? Did you see Risa Tisa's TikTok? You better wake up and pay attention. Anyway, so they look at their new place or whatever, and I don't know, like, there's a certain voice that he puts on. It almost sounds like a newscaster voice or a radio DJ voice. I thought he was one by the way that he spoke. Sometimes it just felt like put on, like a performance when he's speaking to her. Sometimes, like, even with what he's saying, it feels like he's saying what he thinks he should say instead of what he's actually feeling in the moment. They start talking about how they can't wait to meet each other's family, and he told her when she meets his dad that most likely he might be flirting with her. And you know, he gave the rundown on how his dad made him feel like cheating was just normal in a relationship, and he cheated on his mom even though they were together 25 years, and actually took him on infidelity trips. I've never even heard of the term infidelity trips, but the fact that it was that normalized and he was literally there and saw it with his own eyes, and his dad so carelessly, I feel like that is so damaging to a child. People make mistakes in relationships. When you grow up, you do realize that your parent is a human and they make mistakes. But for him to be so careless to actually bring his child on a trip where he's cheating on that child's mother, and he says his mother still doesn't know about it. That's a secret that his father made him keep. I can't imagine what that does to your psyche as a child. No wonder he acts the way that he does. This man needs serious therapy, okay? For real. Like, and that's why he's constantly having these therapy sessions with AD, where she's just sitting here absorbing it all, and I guess feeling like she's being there for him, but he needs help. And you can literally see the internal struggle on him. I think he really does want a family. I think he really does want to do better than his father, but he fighting demons. Like, for real. He said himself. So I don't know, girl. Why do you really want to put up with that? It's crazy because he still called his dad a great father after that. He was a great father. He just cheated on my mom and brought me with him when he did it. And then he also said he's never seen a black relationship where the man was faithful. And I'm just like, if you didn't need nothing else to be told to you, AD. Like, AD doesn't see anything wrong with this. How many times can I tell AD to run? Like, how many ways can I say it? I need to learn different languages. Like, AD, leave this man alone. All right, now let's talk about Laura and Jeremy. We pick up with them after they had their fight over bean dip, and she said that he ran his mouth too much. He walked off saying he wanted to go home. She said he was cold to her that entire night and decided to sleep on the couch. You definitely should not shut out your partner like that. And I feel like that's a conversation that he should have had with her instead of just icing her out, or at least say, I need a little space for tonight. You know what I'm saying? So I do think he was wrong in that aspect. But whenever they talked about what happened, she really came in swinging like a victim, playing the victim. I was so triggered by my past relationships embarrassing me, and once again placed the blame on him that he was running his mouth, and that's why all of this went down. She said, I only said the bean dip thing to you because I never thought you would say anything. He was like, you know, I was never going to actually do it. But she was like, you shouldn't have said anything at all. And no, you should not have said the bean dip to him for him to repeat it. Like, she just cannot own that you are the origin for all of this. You were wrong, and she would not accept any responsibility for it. It was so frustrating because he then came in and took full responsibility because of how he acted after that, giving her the silent treatment, which he was wrong for, and that is not how you handle conflict. But he never held her accountable for her part or pointed that out, and that was frustrating to watch because he did apologize. But even after the apology, she twisted the knife further, saying that she didn't know if they should marry and she really felt like she was on her own. I was just, Laura, shut up. She got on my nerve. So later on, when all the couples met up, he did end up apologizing to AD, even though his wife needed to be the one apologizing, child. Okay. It's funny how the men apologized to AD, but the women didn't, even though what they did was just as bad, if not worse. He said he really felt bad about it. He felt so bad he almost left. And it's like, okay, ease up a little bit. You almost left. You almost left because you got into it with Laura. Anyway, they start talking about AD's relationship with Clay, and he lets her know that he's a very introspective person and he just needs his space. And even when all the men were together, sometimes, you know, Clay would just become very quiet. That kind of made AD feel better about the situation. So then he's having a conversation with Amy about Sarah, who is his other connection in the pods. And, you know, he says that he still wants to be cool with her. The reason why he didn't choose her is because he didn't get a seriousness from her. He did like her otherwise. Amy looked so uncomfortable when he was talking about that. And I probably would too. Like, you are engaged. Why are you sitting up here talking about this other woman and how you still want to talk to her? But she was just looking like... So then they make the trip back home. They get to their place. She said she won't marry Jeremy if he's messy. His only rule is he doesn't like to leave dirty dishes in the sink overnight. But her rules are no leaving half-eaten food around, no hair in the sink, no leaving the house with the TV and the lights on, which I feel like for the most part aren't, you know, I feel like those aren't just crazy requests. And then at the end, he claims that this is the first time he's ever truly been in love. And it's like, this is the first time you've been in love? I just don't even see the connection between you two. For this to be the first time you've ever been in love? I don't know, Jeremy. I don't know. That don't even sound right. So finally, let's talk about Kenneth and Britney. So he ended up bringing up the conversation that he had with AD to her about race and, you know, raising biracial children. He said that AD just questions like, how will your children perceive race? And I feel like she got a little defensive and kind of passive aggressively questions the intent of AD's questioning her ability, and she just kept saying, I know you identify as a black man and she identifies as a black woman. They just are that. They don't identify as it. That's just who they are. Why do you keep saying that? And see, that's why she questions it right there. And that's why the kids will have a little trouble with identity right there, with you constantly saying that. But he assured her that AD was coming from a good place. There was no malice and there's no reason for you to be getting offended right now. She has said that she has dated interracially in the past and she knows there will be challenges. He knows that he will face possible criticism and backlash over this decision. I really do. I don't think he said that explicitly, but that's what I was getting from him when he was having that conversation. Because after he had that conversation with AD, you could see like a little switch in him. Even though I felt he was always being performative. If you look back at my reviews, I never felt it from him, right? But after that conversation with AD, he just completely flipped like a light. Not to mention, every time he sees Clay and AD, he's always talking about black love this and black love that. So I do think that plays a part in it. He immediately became emotionally unavailable. There would be times where she would talk to him and he would just be looking right through her or right past her. And she would just be like, am I here? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he just would be very dismissive almost. She'll be like, I'm just so happy. And he like, oh, I'm happy too. And then it'll just get quiet. And the crazy thing is, y'all, on their parts, it was so cringy. I sped it up and still it was a very long silence. Even when it was sped up, it was so cringy. I don't even know how she sat in that. Because I would be asking him every 5 minutes, are you okay? What's wrong? Why the long face? Are you upset about something? Did I do it to you? Are you thinking about something? Like, what's on your mind? Because you constantly just getting quiet out of nowhere. And she looks so uncomfortable in those moments. And really, there's no reason to have like a lull in y'all's conversation because y'all are literal strangers. There are so many things to discuss. Everything. Y'all have everything to discuss. You literally do not know this person. There's so many questions to be asked and answered. So the fact that he's sitting there quiet, what's wrong with you? And I also hate when I have to be the one to keep the conversation going. Now, maybe he's like kind of a dull person or have a dull personality. I don't know, but I don't think that's what it is. The only thing that got him off that Beyonce mute challenge in that boat was when he saw the dolphins. It was crazy. He completely lit up and had all these stories about dolphins and how he had a dolphin keychain and everything. And literally, that's the only thing that made him talk to her. So she asked him about physical touch as like a love language, and he claims to love physical touch even though his body language is completely off. Like, he's turned away from her while she's like touching on him and not reciprocating. Even after she had that conversation with him, he said he didn't want to do too much because he thought he was smothering her and he wanted to be respectful. She's giving you the green light and you still not taking it. So what's the real reason? And she told him she thought he wasn't into her because he's really not showing any affection, and he's gaslighting. Yes, he's gaslighting and saying, well, I've never heard that from anybody. I ain't talking about them. I'm talking about me. Are you not attracted to me? Do you not want to be with me? Because I don't care what you did in the past. You might have liked them. You might not like me. And it's like he really was trying to make her feel crazy. Even when they got back to their shared apartment, he would not put this phone down. Like, he was constantly scrolling. And yes, you have to pick up with work. Yes, you've been away from social media. You've been away from your friends. You've been, they haven't had their phone in so long. I totally get that. But when your phone is cutting you off from the people that you're in a room with, when it's keeping y'all from having conversations, when it's keeping you from interacting with your partner, it's a huge distraction. And I would almost think it was an addiction, the way he was on it 24/7. And I also would be thinking, well, who you texting? Well, who you messaging? That's so important that you can't talk to me, somebody who you're newly engaged to. It's like he was constantly trying to escape the situation instead of addressing what was really going on. And y'all, I couldn't do that. You got to put that phone down at some point. And the thing is, I'm somebody, I'll be on my phone too, but when we're having like one-on-one time and, you know, bonding time, I put it down. Y'all, moving into this new place, she's trying to ask you, which side of the dresser do you want? Which side of the vanity do you want? How do you want to split everything? And you're in your phone, not even paying attention. He wasn't even responding to her at one point, not with a glance. Like, you would think that she was talking to herself in that room. And then the only time he really perks up is when he tells her he wants her to cook that night. Baby, when I tell you, he would have saw a different side of me that night. You won't even sit up here and have a conversation with me. You won't hug me. You won't look at me, but you want me to cook. I don't know what you think this is. Slavery ended a long time ago. And I know that's wild for me to say because that's a black man and a white woman. But y'all know what I meant. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this episode down below. I would love to hear your opinion. Do you agree with me? Do you not agree with me? And I hope you enjoyed this video. And I'll see you in my next one. Peace.